Hey there, everyone. These are 2i notes on applying decimals to some kind of real-life situations, and in this case we're going to be looking at perimeter, area, and volume. Alright, so let's look at our notes here. Our first problems deal with perimeter, and just a reminder that perimeter is the distance around the outside edge of a figure. So distance around outside of a shape or figure. And we compute that by adding all the sides together. All right, so for our first problem here, we've got a hexagon, and in order to find its perimeter, we're going to add all 6 of those sides together. So I'm going to start with 6 2/10. That's this side right here. And I'm lining up my decimal points, 5 1/10, 4 8/10, another 6 2/10, another 5 1/10, and a 4 8/10. All right, I've lined up my decimal point. I'm going to start adding now. When I have a long list of numbers to add like this, I like to find my multiples, my sums that add up to 10. So 8 and 2 is 10, 8 and 2 is 20, 10 and 10 is 20, and then 2 more makes 22. So put down my 2, bring that decimal point down here, carry my 2. Again, looking for tens. So 6 and 4 is 10, 5 and 5 is 10 more, which makes 20. 4 and 6 is another 10, which makes 30, and then 2 more is 32. All right, so my distance around the outside edge of this hexagon is 32 2/10 centimeters. We just write centimeters. It's not squared, it's not cubed, it's just centimeters. All right, our next one over here is a rectangular shape. And we remember that in a rectangle that opposite sides are equal. Remember there are 4 sides, so we have to have 4 numbers here. So we have a 1 4/10 for this side, and then this opposite side is also 1 4/10, again lining up my decimal points. This side is 0 35/100. All right, so 0 goes here, there's my decimal point, 35/100. And then the same on that other side is 0 35/100. Fill in my empty spaces with some zeros. 5 plus 5 is 10, put down a 0, carry my 1. What I like here is this is 7, and 7 makes 14, and 1 more is 15. Put down my 5. There's my decimal point, carry my 1, and there's 1, 2, 3. You know that at the end of a decimal number, we can drop off zeros. Now, if there were another number over here, we couldn't do that, but just because this one's at the end. So this is 3 5/10 miles for the perimeter. So that if I was going to walk around the outside edge of this rectangle, be 3 5/10 miles. All right, now my area, remember that area is the space inside a figure, and we find it by doing length times width. All right, and we have to take our, or we could say base times height, and I actually like base times height better because that is going to help us later on in mathematics to realize that we've got a base and a height. And our height always has to be a 90-degree angle with the base. So for this rectangle, that's not a problem. We've got a base of 2 51/100 and a height of 1 65/100. So we're going to multiply those two together. So I'm going to ignore the fact that there's decimals in these numbers, and I'm just going to multiply a 3-digit by a 3-digit number. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Put my 5 down, carry my 2. 5 times 2 is 10, and 2 more is 12. Add a 0 because I'm moving over a digit. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. Put my 0 down, carry my 3. 6 times 2 is 12, and 3 more is 15. Put down 2 zeros because I'm moving over 2 digits. It's a 6, not a 0. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. Add everything up. 5, 11, 4, 11, didn't line my digits up real well here. This 1 actually should be over here, so we're not confused there. Okay, and so now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 digits behind the decimal in the answer because there were 4 digits behind the decimal in the problem. And so my area then for this rectangle is 4 and 1,415 10,000ths meters squared. Remember that area is a two-dimensional, it's length times width, so we're talking about space inside, so that's two-dimensional, so we square the unit. Now, don't make the mistake of writing the 2 over here. That's a math problem, not a unit. This is a unit, okay? All right, now this one, remember we've got to get that height at a 90-degree angle from the base, and so this is the value that we'll use for the height, not this slant height. All right, so to figure out the area of this parallelogram, we're going to do 2 and 5/10 times 1 and 8/10. And it's just coincidental that those decimal points line up. We don't worry about that with multiplying. 5 times 8 is 40. Put my 0 down, carry my 4. 8 times 2 is 16, and 4 more is 20. Add a 0 because I'm moving over a digit. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. Add everything up. Place my decimal point. All right, and so we know we can drop that 0. So this is 4 and 5/10 meters squared. Let me go back and circle my answers. Here's my answer here. Here's my answer here. And make sure those answers don't get lost in all of our work here. Here's my answer here, and here's my answer here. Okay, now for volume, remember that volume is the amount of space an object occupies. So space occupied by an object. And it's three-dimensional, so it has length, width, and height. So we can say that is going to be computed by doing the base times the width times the height. Okay? All right, so and it doesn't matter which of these you call the base, which you call the width, and which you call the height, because we could stand this shape any way we wanted to. We could have it this way, we could turn it and have it this way, we could turn it and have it that way. So really doesn't matter which you call base, width, and height for these, just so that you can keep them separated. So there are 3 numbers. I'm going to have to multiply 2 together at a time. So I'm going to start with the 2 and 4/10 times the 1 and 9/10. Just put a little check there so I know I've done those 2. 9 times 4 is 36. Put down my 6, carry my 3. 9 times 2 is 18, and 3 more is 21. Moving over a digit, add a 0. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. Add them up. 6, 5, 4. Place my decimal point. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now I'm going to take that answer, 4 and 56/100ths, and I am going to multiply that by my 6 and 8/10. 8 times 6 is 48. Put down my 8, carry my 4. 8 times 5 is 40, and 4 more is 44. Put down my 4, carry my 4. 8 times 4 is 32, and 4 more is 36. Add a 0 because I'm moving over a digit. 6 times 6 is 36. Put down my 6, carry my 3. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 3 is 33. Put down my 3, carry my 3. 6 times 4 is 24, and 3 more is 27. Add it up. 8, 10, 10, 11, 3. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So my answer is 31 and 8/1000ths. Now, because this is a three-dimensional figure, length times width times height, or base times width times height, this will be centimeters cubed. So that gets a 3 on the unit. Again, do not put this 3 on the number. That would be a math problem. This is a unit. Okay? All right, last one here for volume. We're going to do base times width times height. And so this is a cube, so they're all the same. 5 and 5/10 times 5 and 5/10. 5 times 5 is 25. Put down my 5, carry my 2. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 2 is 27. Add a 0 moving over a digit. And of course this is just going to repeat, but 5 times 5 is 25. Put down my 5, carry my 2. 5 times 5 is 25. Plus 2 is 27. Add it up. 5, 12, 10, 3. And place my decimal point. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then take that number, because we've done those two, and we need to do this one, 30 and 25 hundredths times 5 and 5/10. And here we go again. 5 times 5, 25. Carry my 2. 10 and 2 is 12. Carry my 1. 5 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 5 times 3 is 15. Moving over a digit, add a 0. 5 times 5 is 25. Put down my 5. Carry my 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 more is 12. Put down my 2, carry my 1. 5 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 5 times 3 is 15. And then add that up. 5, 7, 3, 6, 6, 1. Place my decimal point. So 5 and 5/10 cubed is 166 and 375 thousandths inches cubed. All right, guys, add this to your math journal and make sure you update your table of contents, and I will see you in class for more practice on perimeter, area, and volume when there are decimal numbers.